Hello everyone, and welcome to the P1 Broadcasting channel. It's Murph, it's Jacob Collins, and welcome to the virtual Circuit Gilles Villeneuve on the Isle de Notre Dame in Montreal, otherwise known, Jacob, as the world's most glorified permanent street circuit.
Yeah, something like that. It's, surrounded by water, put on an island, and they let the cars rip around it every once in a while.
It very much is. So this track was built in 1976. First Formula One race was held here in 1978. It was won, of course, by Gilles Villeneuve in a Ferrari. But it was built, finished in 1978. And it's hosted the Canadian Grand Prix pretty much ever since. The first 10 years of its existence, it had the Canadian Grand Prix that moved from Mossport and then Mont Tremblant. Those two tracks had safety issues, of course, for modern cars. And so they moved it here. This is a man-made island, Mr. Collins. I didn't know if you knew that or not, but it is a man-made island in the St. Lawrence River that was originally built up for the Expo, the Canadian Expo in 1967. And then it was enlarged. There's a biosphere here, all sorts of different cool stuff. But yeah, it's an artificial island. The rowing and canoeing for the 1976 Summer Olympics was also here. That's the artificial basin that you see along in the middle of the island. And so there you go. The track is very start and stop. You'll come off there. You're looking at the Wall of Champions, which is the final chicane. The Wall of Champions to the right. That leads off to the main straight. You'll go down through the Virage Senna. That's the 1-2 complex. There's another quick chicane at 3 and 4. Then a nice right-hander at 5 to a chicane at 6 and 7. You guessed it, Jacob. A long straight to a chicane. A long straight to a hairpin. The hairpin is probably the iconic corner here at turn number 10. And then, well, Jacob Collins, what do you have after the hairpin?
A big old straight and that wonderful chicane where you can pray that you don't hit that Wall of Champions.
That's true. The difference between the long straight, between the hairpin and the final chicane is that unlike the other 1, 2, 3 long straights on this circuit, that straightaway has a name. It's called the Casino Straight because there's a casino there. And so you'll see them flash past that building. But there's the view of the hairpin. You're seeing it now. And we are well into qualifying. Let's jump on the roll bar of Alain Boutreau, and we'll show you what you're looking at here going through the Isle de Notre Dame, the circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Here he is going down the main straight. He's going to make the left and then the right through the Virage Senna. No, he's not. Alain Boutreau not making an additional lap there. I thought he was in for a flyer. Hunter Ingraf, Tyler Langenbergen, the only two that have not taken time. So we'll keep an eye on them. Just some other quick facts and figures for you here, Jacob. The track record on the current layout, 1 minute 13.078. We are not going to get there, brother.
No.
We are not going to get there. IndyCars traditionally at this circuit, we're about 8 to 10 seconds off of the Formula One times. That's a good approximation. That's generally what we'll see. And what's neat about this track is not just that it's on an island and it's got a Olympic rowing course in the middle of it. There are some decent places to pass here, Jacob.
Yeah, you've got a lot of really long straightaways to set up kind of a draft train as you get down the straights, and obviously if you can get alongside in the chicanes, it's a good opportunity to kind of battle it out wheel to wheel, make through the corner, and whoever can kind of pip their way down the next straights who's usually going to take it down the rest of it.
You can, and the other thing is, that you want to watch for, there are multiple lines through that hairpin leading onto the Casino Straight. And depending on how you get through there, you can build an absolutely monster run down that straightaway and position yourself to make a pass going into that final chicane and toward the Wall of Champions, so named as the Wall of Champions because pretty much everybody of note has hit it. There were not one, not two, but 3 world driving champions that hit that wall in the 1999 Canadian Grand Prix alone. That would be Damon Hill, Michael Schumacher, and Jacques Villeneuve all crashed into that wall at the final chicane. Ricardo Zonta, who was also the reigning FIA GT Sports Car champion, hit the wall there. Other people that have famously struck that wall: Juan Pablo Montoya, Carlos Sainz, Jenson Button, Sebastian Vettel, Kevin Magnussen, and Derek Warwick absolutely demolished his arrows there in the 1988 Canadian Grand Prix. So a lot of very talented drivers have managed to clobber that thing, Collins.
Yeah, and it's gotten its due for a reason. As many of these corners that are chicanes here, it's probably one of the most treacherous because of just how long that back straightaway is building up to it. Not
only that, but the curbing there is kind of interesting, and it's got a sausage curb. So you have to be very precise getting into that corner. Speaking of precise, I'll tell you who's been precise. Who's been precise here, Jacob? Alain Berteau on the pole. 1 minute 21.068. So about what, 8 seconds, 9 seconds off of the track record. About what I said. Logan Edwards will start outside. Olivia Hayward and Leon Flukiger, they're going to go from row 2. Anna Klimek, the deer, she'll start 5th next to Connor Parise in 6th. Alex Warkus, Rashad Craig 7th and 8th. Shady Ahmed and Milo Green, they're going to round out the top 10. In 11th, Blaze Andrich, Seb Alexander in 12th. Chad Simpson, Caleb Brashear are going to start 13th and 14th on row 8. Alex Crow and Kevin Desnoyers. Now, Kevin Desnoyers was very fast in practice, but you'll notice the blank next to his name, Jacob, he got a 0x on a 0-1x on both of his flyers. He'll start in the back. Hunter Ingrav, Taylor Langenberg, they did not attempt to take time, and they will start 17th and 18th on the grid. And there you see Alain Berteau in the Fiercely Ford machine getting ready for some action. There you have the starting grid, and we'll just kind of go back a little bit. There's Ohe. That's a great starting position for Olivia Hayward in 3rd. Looking at her, you've got Anna the Deer and Connor Parise, 5th and 6th. Alex Warkus, he's going to be in the light blue and white machine right next to the familiar lime green and Dayglow lime green and black of Rashad Craig in the Indy Alliance car. Shady Ahmed and Milo Green make up row 10. There's Blaze Andrich and Seb Alexander in row 6. Chad Simpson in the satellite machine next to Caleb Brashear, 13th and 14th. Alex Crow, he'll go 15th in the AMR car next to Kevin Desnoyers. Desnoyers, of course, in the Fiercely Ford car. And then Hunter Ingrav, Taylor Langenberg, they're going to start from the back. Is that deliberate from Hunter there? Are you aware?
Potentially not. It looks like just kind of generally the group of cars that kind of probably work together to figure a setup out here starting towards the middle of the field. So it's possible that maybe he just wasn't feeling comfortable in the qualifying set, or maybe spent preparation exclusively on race trim and didn't feel like he had anything that would have moved him up significantly up the grid. So we'll just have to see how he kind of works his way through the field here over the opening couple laps.
And we do have kind of a little bit of drama here. Do want to note that Leon Flukiger very late to the grid, and that car has been blinking out a little bit. That is the Oracle Red Bull white livery there. You don't see that one very often, but you do want to be cognizant of the Formula One liveries in an IndyCar race. Be that as it may, Leon has taken his position on the grid. We are going to have 31 laps here at Montreal. Pace car is off. Barney has the green flag in hand, and we are green here at Montreal. Kind of weird, there's no flag stand here, Collins.
Looks like there might be one.
Everybody safely through turns 1 and 2. down toward the 3 and 4 complex. Alan Boutreau leads it. Safely through there. And this track, very noted. It is an island, and there isn't much to the island. But, Jacob, it is very scenic.
Yeah, you've got a good amount of trees and just general foliage just surrounds the track. It kind of reminds me of the back straight at Road America going from the Kink all the way down to Canada Corner, where you're kind of just...
Whoa, we've got cars off. That is Blaze Andrich has gone off in turn number 8. Blaze Andrich, turn 8, and we're gonna let's see what's happened with Blaze here. Here he is. He's riding along. That is Shady Ahmed in front of Blaze. You see the biosphere off to the left. And they're headed toward 8 and 9. Andrich gets a huge run up the inside. And I bet you a shiny new dime, Jacob, that they're going to make contact when they get down here to the right-hander. Blaze
I don't know if he hit anything. I think he might have just locked up the rear tires and went straight.
Yeah, he did. Shady Ahmed in the Repsol livery, he gets away with it. You've got the 17 of Milo Green. He's going to take to the sand. He's going to take to the gravel and the grass. He'll get by Andrich. Everybody is going to safely make this through. Nobody got any contact. We go back to live action. There's Andrich. He didn't hit anything, but he is now 12 seconds off the lead, and that lead is held by Alan Boutreau. And there's Alan. He's got the lead from Logan Edwards, Olivia Hayward in third, and then Flugiker, Parise, Craig, Klimek, Ahmed, and Alex Warkus make out the top 9. Kevin Desnoyers has already made it to 9th, and he is working to get past Shady Ahmed in 8th. As you see the push to pass light up on the right. Worth noting, Jacob, every driver started this race on the black primary sidewall tires. Nobody went in for the options.
Yeah, you'll tend to see that at these much higher speed, higher braking zone tracks. You know, this in Road America tends to be where you'll see kind of the call for the harder tires, because people tend to be able to get a bit more mileage out of those. Obviously, we'll have to see the alternate tire come the end of this race here, as since most people are on the black tire. Because of that compound swap, we're going to have to see everybody come over to the red tire. So I imagine people are going to try to stretch this opening run as long as they possibly can to stay on these tires.
Yeah, and that's going to be a huge thing. It's very interesting to me that nobody took the opportunity to go onto the alternate tires just for a different strategy. As you see, Desnoyers, he works around Shady Ahmed, and that's going to open up the door for Alex Warkus to go through. This is the battle for 9th and 10th, and they've got Seb Alexander all over the rear wing of Alex Warkus for 11th. Hunter Ingrab just a few car lengths back. Here goes Warkus to the outside. He's going to try to make that stick through 8 and 9.
Yeah, that's just such a tough spot to be in on the outside of these chicanes, right? It's because the car on the inside essentially can kind of muscle you around in that awkward position, as we see Seb try to work the way on the outside of the hairpin, which likewise doesn't go over very well.
No, it doesn't. But Alexander should have a massive run coming out of that hairpin, and he should be able to get in the draft and then whistle right past Shady Ahmed as they head down toward 12 and 13. This is the Wall of Champions. Seb Alexander is going to go through into 10th. Now it's Hunter Ingrab wants a piece of Shady Ahmed, and he's going to go past into turn 1. Shady Ahmed had a bad lap number 3 as we work into lap 4. He lost 3 spots there. Desnoyers, Warkus, Alexander, and Ingrab. So 4 people passed him in that one lap. Kevin Desnoyers is worth the price of admission, though. He has come from 18 to 8th, and he is looking up the road. That is Anna Klimek, Rashad Craig, and Connor Parise dead ahead, 7th, 6th, and 5th. And we'll go to that battle because it's a good one. Rashad Craig is all over the back of Connor Parise, who is just a little bit behind the automobile of Olivia Hayward. That's Ohe running 4th. Leon Flugiker has made it into 3rd. Logan Edwards and Alan Boutreau have checked out. They are just about 3 seconds ahead of this battle, but it's going to be a good one once Desnoyers gets there. Jacob, were you able to get any information about the fuel run here?
I actually do not have much a clue as to how long the fuel run is here. If I remember correctly from last year, it's around 14 to 15 laps is about as far as you can pull it. So kind of in a similar ballpark as where we're at with Road America, just a tad bit longer. And it's one of those things where you're going to want to probably fill it up as much as you can, especially if you've been hamming on the push to pass, as that'll kind of eke your fuel economy a bit worse than it would be otherwise.
Well, and if you've got a fuel run of 15 laps, buddy, you might be in trouble. This is a 31 lap event, so we're going to be taking a look at when these cars stop. I likewise cannot remember what the fuel run was, and likewise did not check it. Normally, I'm good for a very slow attempt at a lap whenever we come to our road course. But I wasn't able to do that. We had some family commitments, and I didn't get into the rig until about 10 minutes before this race started. So we'll learn right along with everybody else. And everybody else right now is learning from this man. It's Alan Boutreau in the Fiercely Ford machine. He leads it from Logan Edwards in second. Edwards is right there. He's not going away, Jacob, but he is losing ground a couple of tenths a lap in the Luke Mansky Motorsports machine. But there's Logan Edwards. Leon Flugicker is third in the Red Bull car. There he is. And then you've got a battle royale. It's Parise, Hayward, Craig, and Desnoyers. They're going after it from 4th through 7th. And Anna Klimek, Anna the Deer, is not too far behind them. Desnoyers has gotten past Klimek and moved into 7th. So there's Desnoyers. We'll get back to him in a moment. There's Anna the Deer. She is in 8th, the Taylor Mills Racing Machine. Alex Warkus sees Hunter Ingrab take to the inside. There's Warkus, that's 9th. That's the battle 9th and 10th. And Seb Alexander looks like he might like to stick his nose in there and move into the top 10. Very defensive line from Warkus there. Looking off.
Yeah, it's not the only option you have there too, right?
It is, but it's going to draw the ire of the man chasing you. Alexander had it up the inside there, and I think Warkus more or less drove that in a way that didn't acknowledge Seb's presence. That'll have the Swede fired up, but he falls back in line. He'll go back to work. It appears as though those cars from Rogue Racing, that would be Hunter Ingrab. That would be Hunter Ingrab specifically, and then the Indy Alliance cars, Rashad Craig and Seb Alexander, they've managed to come forward quite a bit or keep up. Now here goes Alexander. He's going to go through on Warkus, move Alexander to 10th, so he's up a couple of spots. Hunter Ingrab, though, he's been worth the price of admission. Hunter Ingrab started this race 17th. He's made up 7 spots. He's passed half the field. Give a call down to that guy.
Yeah, absolutely. We see Warkus run a little deep into that hairpin there, and that gives Alexander the run out. So he'll take that spot away coming down towards the Wall of Champions here. We'll see if Warkus can maybe get his feet back underneath of him, but he might have some very hot tires with how much smoke I saw coming out of that car.
Yes, he very much may. We're going to go back to Kevin Desnoyers because Desnoyers has made his way past Olivia Hayward. He is now working on Rashad Craig and Connor Parise. Now, the thing is, the further forward you get in this field, the more difficult it's going to be to make these passes. Desnoyers in the Brazilian green and yellow, for lack of a better descriptor there. It kind of looks like a Brazilian flag almost in the number 4 Fiercely Ford P1 Docks machine. He's going to turn it to the inside of Rashad Craig, but Craig kind of diamonded it off. He should have the superior run down the Casino Straight. He doesn't, though. Desnoyers is going to go through. Rashad's going to tug in the line, pick one more. Desnoyers into 5th.
Yeah, you've got to imagine Kevin's just trying to pick off as many of these spots as early as he can, right? Because the longer he goes, the further those gaps can try to build in front of him with cars holding him up. So the faster he can pick these off, the more he's able to charge to the front.
Look at how much he closes under braking to the car of Connor Parise. We're looking through the left eyeball of Kevin Desnoyers here in the Fiercely Ford machine. A little bit of curve, a little bit of curve. There he goes. One more time. We're looking at turns 4 and 5. And then this is very tight. Turn 6, you've got to brake. You've got to get down to second gear. And then you've got to make sure you get a good launch, because this is a long straightaway and probably the toughest set of corners for me on the course. Is this one, because it's very difficult to pick up a braking point into 8 and 9. There's really not much there to go off of, Jacob.
No, and you kind of got to use, like, when you get out from under the bridges a lot of times here to figure out just where your car is, right? It's because, you know, while a couple of the corners do have meter boards as we see them work through the hairpin here, you know, there's some of them where it's basically you cross under a bridge and you go, okay, there's an access road like maybe here, and I'm going to try slowing down there. And it's a game of inches here, because if you miss that braking zone a little bit, you're going straight in the grass and you might hit the wall at that.
Yeah, you're trying to pick up on anything if it's you know, a crack in the pavement, or, you know, I've counted the red and white stripes on a curb before. Anything, but there just aren't really a lot of references around here. And it's also, as you can see from looking through Kevin's eyes here, other than this one little rise right here between turns 2 and 3, there's not really all that much elevation change. It's very flat. And then you lose all that elevation down down here approaching turn 6. That's really the only hill you've got too. The other thing that'll strike you is the walls here are very close to the circuit. It's concrete on the outer for the outer wall, and it's Armco on the inside. They do use this island as like a public park during the non-racing season. So while the racetrack itself, and we'll show the braking zone for the hairpin, and then we'll get out of here because we've shown the rest of the circuit. But watching Kevin Desnoyers, and Rashad Craig has a traffic jam behind him. That's Parise Hayward and Anna Klimek. They are all over the back of Rashad Craig. But they do use it as a public park, and people cycle on it. It's you know, it's open to the public when it's not in use as a racetrack. Although the racetrack facilities and the track itself, so the garage area, the timing stands, and so forth, those are permanent here.
I'd imagine that's part of the appeal as well, too, right? As some people would probably come out here and tour the track as if it was race weekend when it's not race weekend. I'm sure it's much more convenient to do so.
Oh, they do. You know, it is a popular place, even for tourists. I can tell you that I have received a picture from relatives as they have been to Montreal and come to the circuit, and you know, you can walk out on the track. You can walk the track. But it's a favorite. My dad sent me a picture of himself sitting on the wall of champions. That's one. Now, without the racetrack, without any knowledge though, it looks like you're just sitting on a random concrete wall somewhere, right?
Yep.
But any race fan or any Formula One fan would instantly know, as you see Connor Parise dive to the bottom of Rashad Craig. He thinks twice. Again, we're watching the battle between Craig, Parise, Hayward, and Klimek. This is 5th, 6th, and 7th, and 8th. This is by far the most entertaining battle on the circuit. There aren't really anybody else close. Brashear Simpson, Milo Green are all within a second of one another for 14th, 15th, and 16th. Blaise Andras and Alex Warkus have both decided that they've had enough, and they have pulled into the pit lane. Kevin Desnoyers is the fastest car on the circuit by a lot. 1:23.4 for Alain Berthaud, 23.5 for Edwards, 23.7 for Leon Flugiger. Desnoyers at a 1:23.1. He is putting about a second a lap on Rashad Craig. He's hauling in the leader about 0.3 a lap. Problem is, he's got a long way to go. Here's the view off of Desnoyers. That's Leon Flugiger, and that's the distance. It's about 1.7 seconds right now, Jacob.
Yeah, and it's about another 2 or in change to Logan Edwards in front of that. But let's kind of give that some credit, right? Is that lead hasn't really gone too far away between any of these cars up at the front, except for maybe this gap behind Desnoyers here. So up at the front, it's been a game of inches more or less in terms of people trying to pull away from one another.
Yes, it has. And speaking of Speaking of games of inches, if you like what you see here tonight, fans, make sure you give the channel a like. Make sure you make sure you ring the bell to subscribe to the P1 Broadcasting Network. We have a ton, and I mean a ton, of IndyCar programming upcoming tonight. Immediately following this, you're going to have the ISRA series. That's going to be at 9:35. Our good friend and chief here at P1, Gary Godso, he's going to have that one. Again, that's 9:35, is it, Collins?
Believe so.
Now, you're still leading the points over there, aren't you?
That I am.
Attaboy. Who won the last race in that series, anyway?
I think this Mark Murphy guy, you might have heard of him.
I had the worst net code in the world, but I somehow managed to pull out a win. But that's 9:35, the Sim Gaming Expo ISRA Open Wheel Series live from Michigan. If you can't be entertained by Indy cars at Michigan, I don't know what does entertain you. And then tomorrow, the flagship, that'll be the IndyCar Oval Series Top Split Tuesday, presented by Techtopia. That's from Kansas at 8:15. On Wednesday, Ryan Eric King and I are going to have the Horizon IndyCar Series from Kentucky. That's at 8 p.m. Thursday, Sam Crow and I, the Black Magic Studios Grand National Series from the AMA. That's going to be an 8:20 pre-race, 8:35 start. They're going to take to the road course. That's entertaining, and Logan Edwards is already the betting favorite in that one. So tune that one in. You're going to see a guy who has won in Indy cars. He's won in stock cars on the channel. He looks to keep that going. The Votive Indy Ovals, or excuse me, the INDYCAR iRacing Series presented by 40 Racewear. That's going to be from Montreal Saturday at 2. And then lastly, round out the week, we're gonna have the Votive INDYCAR Series, Votive Indy Oval Series, round 3 of season 3. That's an 8 o'clock start Sunday night from Twin Ring Motegi. We do appreciate big audience tonight. Make sure you smash the like button on the video. Ring the bell to subscribe to the channel. Kevin Desnoyers, he's going to try to subscribe to third place. He is all over the back of Leon Flugiker here.
Yeah, we saw that gap kind of close from around 2 seconds down to about half a second now as he kind of creeps his way through the chicanes here. We'll see if maybe he can get close enough to take a shot at it coming towards that wall of champions. Otherwise, it's likely going to be the next lap or so, given how fast he's made up that ground.
Yeah, he's been closing in. Desnoyers has been closing in now 7 to 8 tenths. Well, last lap was last lap was 7 tenths of a second. So he's managed to close that down within 3 or 4 laps. It's not taking long. We're also, though, we're approaching pit stops. At least we think we are. And Jacob, did you see or hear that long coast phase from Desnoyers? He was off the gas big early there.
Yeah, you got to imagine he's maybe going to try to save a little bit of fuel here. It looks like the fuel window is probably more in the neighborhood of 17, 18, 19 laps, depending on how much you stretch it here. I want to say last year the IIS was a 3-stop, which would sound about right given the race distance there. So we'll just have to see how long these guys opt to hang on to these primary tires before they switch over to those red alternates.
You know, and that's a great point. The tire choice, we haven't put it up just because everybody is on the same tire. But if you look at the carrot, everybody is on the primary black sidewall Firestones. They're going to go on. Everybody's going to go on to the alternate red sidewall tires. Now, the reds are faster. They do wear out much more quickly. And Jacob, it would seem to me that everybody starting on the primary tires indicates that that's the preferred tire, and they may want to hang on to those as absolutely long as possible.
Yeah, and that's something that also to add to that is that I feel like, at least in practice, now whether or not that's actually the case or not, the red tires take a little bit longer to come up to temperature than the blacks as well. I'm not sure if that's just placebo or kind of just a one-off experience of my own, but I've noticed that at least since the car refresh here, we've had a bit longer of a temperature uptime to get those reds up to snuff, so that might also be the reason we saw so many people start on blacks here.
You know, that could be too. Most certainly could be. All sorts of different things strategery-wise that happen in these Indy Open races. Alan Berteau is the leader. Logan Edwards is doggedly second. Logan has loyally been about 4 tenths of a second behind Alan Bruteau throughout this event. The Fiercely Ford competitor leads it from Luke Mansky Motorsports. Desnoyers is now through Flugiger, so 2 Fiercely Ford machines to the podium. Flugiger 4th. Rashad Craig is 5th, and he is 6.5 seconds behind Leon Flugiger as we look at the battle for the lead. I'll tell you what, Logan Edwards is there, and this is quite impressive to see somebody not from a big team all over the back end of Alan Bruteau, who is a very well accomplished driver in these cars.
Yeah, the one thing I would kind of trying to figure out is maybe what happened to Allen the last lap, because Logan Edwards last time by was a 1:23.1 and Bruteau was a 1:24.4, so I'm guessing that's where the bulk of that time came up, was within the last lap or so.
Well, Kevin Desnoyers was the fastest car through last time by, 1:23.1. Logan Edwards the second, 1:23.2. So Logan Edwards is the second fastest car on the circuit, and I don't know, it could be 1:23.5 for Alan Bruteau. It could be he's saving fuel. He's trying to stretch it as long as he can. Logan Edwards, it would appear to me that Kevin Desnoyers, those 2 cars have the wick turned up, and they're going to try to go to the front. Now, Desnoyers, you understand that. He started in the back. Logan Edwards, though, he's more or less been within a second of Alan Bruteau for the entire race. Bruteau must have heard us, though, because he just decided, okay, that's enough of that, and pulled out 0.3 of a second in the last half of a lap.
It's also entirely possible that he's kind of just getting an idea of where his tires have wound up as well, too, right? Maybe he's trying to figure out, maybe if he's running IIS later this week, if just how much can you really push these tires towards the end of the stint, or if there's anything left to them.
Well, and that's something that we do want to document, because, of course, all of these competitors are going to watch this back. And for the people at home, just to make a mental note, it is 81 in the air, 109 degrees on the track. The wind is that's more than a light breeze, but it's not super windy. 12 miles an hour straight out of the south, and it's a clear day here in the sim in Montreal. And so, do kind of note those things as we head for the iRacing INDYCAR Series on Saturday. Will they face different conditions? Will they see rain? This track has been known to have some rain. And I'll tell you what else this track is known as. Kevin Desnoyers. He is now almost to the back of Logan Edwards. I wonder if maybe Alan Bruteau was kind of backing Logan Edwards up to the Desnoyers, maybe.
That's always a possibility as well, too, right? But you've got to imagine that at least some of it's fuel saving. Maybe some of it's trying to get that car closer to Desnoyers so he has a more known quantity behind him. You know, he might not have.
Well, I'll tell you what, Logan Edwards is going to go through into the lead. Logan Edwards made the dive down the inside at the hairpin. Didn't quite get there. Bruteau gets on the push to the pass down the casino straight. We do want to document Seb Alexander, Chad Simpson, Milo Green. They have pitted, as evidenced by the red carrots on the scoring pylon. They are now on the alternate tires with 14 laps remaining. They made it 16 laps, hit the pit lane. And so those cars are now out on the circuit with the alternates. The front 3, they're still on the black primary tires. And I would imagine, given the lead that they've got, of better than 2.5 seconds over Leon Flugiger, that they're more or less going to hold on to these tires as long as possible.
Yeah, it's more of a question of how long does the fuel hold on to the tires here, I would suspect. So we'll have to see if they're able to stretch it a couple laps more over to these cars that have already pit, or if this is the last time around for them.
You can. Now, do want to let everybody know, here's Seb Alexander. He is going to be the guinea pig. He's coming through the final chicane, past the wall of champions, down toward the start-finish line. Seb Alexander, his outlap, 1:38.813. So this is going to be his first full lap. Let's ride on board. We'll get some inputs. We'll let everybody know exactly how fast Seb Alexander is as Bruteau, Edwards, and Desnoyers lead it. Flugiger, Craig, Parise, Hayward, Klimek, Ahmed, and Langenberg. Tyler Langenberg also started in the back. He's made it to 10th. Do want to also note Hunter Ingrav has pulled in. He has made his stop and gone on to the red alternate tires as well. just kind of notice the difference in what you see between fresh alternate tires and used primaries. As we were last on board with Desnoyers, you can visibly see how much more Seb Alexander is able to attack here.
Yeah, but that attack kind of comes at a price too, right? As we've got the tires, they'll come up to temp pretty quick, but you got about maybe 3, at most 4 or 5 laps on reds at most tracks in terms of where they're really putting out all they've got, and then they kind of start to fade slowly from there, depending on your setup and maybe some of the choices you've made with tire use. So we'll just have to see if that remains to be the case between the old blacks and the fresh reds, as to what point do we reach a point where the reds are worse than blacks.
Well, there you go. There's kind of your answer. Seb Alexander, his first time through on a flyer, minute 23.193. That's about 3/10 quicker than what the leaders are doing. Of course, Seb's going to have to make that last. Seb, Hunter Ingrab, Milo Green, Chad Simpson, they're going to have to make these alternate tires last for quite a while. Tyler Langenberg has finally stopped. He's put the red Leon Flugiker rather has stopped. He's put the red alternate tires on his machine. That'll drop him to 8th. Logan Edwards and Alan Bruchot, they are going to stop. Kevin Desnoyers, surprisingly for somebody who ran up through the field as rapidly as he did, he's going to go one more time around. Rashad Craig has hit the pit lane. There he is. Connor Parise, Olivia Hayward, they're on the pit lane. Shady Ahmed, he's going to go one more time. No, he's not. Into the pit lane he comes. Langenberg also in. Caleb Brashear is going to come in. This would lead me to believe that this is this is the end. This is as far as they can go. Alex Crow will make the dive down the pit lane. And it's a weird pit entry. It's in a straight line. Every other track that you go to, Jacob, you kind of have some kind of a chicane or some way to slow you down as you get into pit lane. Montreal, not so. You don't take the chicane to get into the pit lane.
Yeah, it's essentially a straight shot until you get past the pit wall, and then it starts to arc in maybe just ever so slightly at that point. But you still have quite a bit of time that you need to slow that car up, making your way into that pit lane, even if there is no turns there.
Yeah, you most certainly do. We'll show it here because Kevin Desnoyers is likely going to be heading on to the pit lane. Here he is. And there you see it. Not really much to it as he gets down the pit lane. But that can be very difficult as well. We'll show Desnoyers in his box. Alan Bruchot and Logan Edwards, they're going to see if the undercut is successful. Here they come through the final chicane, past the wall of champions. 12 and 13 done and dusted across the line. Desnoyers is coming out. Now, here's another kind of a quirk of this place. The pit lane is a straight shot off. You do have to stay to the right to that cone. So Kevin Desnoyers is going to come out onto the racetrack in 3rd. Logan Edwards is 2nd. They are on hot alternate tires. Desnoyers is back about a 2nd. He is on cold alternates. Logan Edwards has dropped about half a second off of Bruchot here with 10 laps to go.
Now it becomes a tire game, right? It's who can hold on to these things the best, because they're going to start falling away pretty quick. As we'll see over the first couple laps here, you'll see maybe some faster times on lighter tanks and, with those red tires on it. But I imagine come about 4 laps from now, we're going to see guys starting to struggle a little bit.
Yeah, you most certainly will. There you go. We're on the roll hoop for Logan Edwards. Alan Bruchot leads him. That is the car in front. And then if you look off the gearbox, Logan Edwards is the meat in the Fiercely Ford sandwich. That car behind him, no, that's Kevin Desnoyers. He is currently 3rd. Here at Montreal, we've got 11 laps to go. We're going to have click to 10 this time by. And as Jacob mentioned, it's really a game of who can take best care of those alternate tires. Logan Edwards, he wants to get out and lead it now. And I got to think he's wanting to get out of that wake of Alan Bruchot to save his stuff.
Well, some of it could be too is that he thinks that if he can get ahead of Brito, he can stay ahead, right? You can maybe put your car in position to make some more defensive moves rather than offensive ones, as that tends to be easier to do, particularly on older tires where you're not going to be quite as aggressive on throttle trying to keep the car underneath you. So we'll just have to see if he opts to try to make a pass here at some point, or if he's even able to do so.
Yeah, I mean, this is a long circuit, 2.7 miles. There are really, 3 or 4 passing zones maybe. Into the hairpin is one, into the 12 and 13 complex, into turn 1, and then maybe turn 8. There's not a whole lot of places to make a pass unless the guy in front of you makes a mistake. Do want to kind of point out too, of the leaders, Jacob, push to pass is just about even. Desnoyers has the most, 147 seconds, but Brito and Edwards, they're pretty close in push to pass. As you see, Alan Brito pull away just a little bit there down the home straight into turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, you got to imagine most of these guys kind of have their deployment strategy figured out for that push to pass, maybe a little bit coming off the corners onto the bulk of the straightaways. Other than that, you stay off of it and kind of just hang out in line. But just have to kind of see how that develops with the closing stages.
Well, and is Logan Edwards saving his, using the draft to kind of pull himself along, saving his to see, hey, can I lean on that thing all the way down the casino straight and maybe draw alongside and make a move? Where
that's always the risk too, right? Is you can use it for a passing opportunity like that, but if you make that move too early, that everybody else can do the same thing you. So Desnoyers take it to the inside through the hairpin up to second.
Yes, he does, and now Logan Edwards is behind 2 fiercely forward machine. Kevin Desnoyers has come all the way from the back. He started 16th, qualifying time disallowed. Incident points, he is currently 3rd. He's made it all the way to the back of teammate Alan Brito, and we'll see if the fiercely forward machines are going to play nice or if they're not. Desnoyers doesn't look like he's gonna just absolutely stay behind Alan Brito and bring this home. Well, 1-2. He's looking mighty racy. He's gonna swing to the inside of Alan Brito. That is not a passing zone, but he set that up beautifully. He swings to the right, going through turn 7 down toward turn 8. Kevin Desnoyers has gone from 16th, and you saw it right here, from 16th to the lead, Jacob.
Well, everything's a passing opportunity if you can get alongside somebody far enough to kind of wave at him and say, hello, I'm here. Please let me through.
Yeah, and then we see Alan Brito. He locks him up going into the hairpin, and that's going to open the door perhaps for Logan Edwards. Edwards, though, appears to back out of it. He'll fall back into 3rd place. It would be a handy Hall of I rating for Logan Edwards too. He was the number 7 car in an 18 car split, so he stands to gain quite a bit here. Do want to point out that Caleb Brashear has now retired his car. He will be credited with 16th position. He's punched out of that. He's punched out of the number 12. So we have 15 runners now. Kevin Desnoyers leads it. Alan Brito is 2nd. We are watching Desnoyers, Brito, and Logan Edwards. Next battle on the track is back here in 7th. That's Anna Klimek, who just went around, cut right at the right time. Anna Klimek goes around, Olivia Hayward. Klimek 7th, Hayward 8th. And now Anna Klimek onto the deer. She's going to set her sights on Connor Parise in 6th.
Yeah, that battle stayed relatively close the bulk of this race. It's just with so few and difficult passing opportunities here, it's been hard for any of those cars to make moves around each other.
Yeah, it is. And you get in a big conga line like that, it can get hard to pass. You've got, the draft pulling the car along in front of you. It's just it can be difficult to pass, especially again at a place like this where there are 3 defined passing zones probably. But where you saw Kevin Desnoyers make the move off of turn number 6, that is not a place that you normally see somebody pull a pass. And I wonder if that's a product, Jacob, of Kevin Desnoyers having gone an extra lap as we've got the battle for second heating up. Logan Edwards doing everything he can to get back around Alan Bruteau. Desnoyers is gone, but these two, after having been passed by the number 4, they've resumed as was.
Well, you've got to imagine for Kevin, he maybe had a lighter fill on his his pit stop, and then his tires are going to come up to temp a little bit later, like about a lap or so. So he might have been able to just time it where his tires were in a better spot than Alan's on top of that lighter fuel load, and just put the car where he needed to when he could, and opted to start sailing away.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about bringing the tires up to temperature and making it, making that light fuel load work for you. Last time through, Kevin Desnoyers 1 minute 22.450. Alan Bruteau 1:23.763. He was 1.2 seconds quicker, Desnoyers was, than Bruteau or Edwards. The next fastest car on the track, Rashad Craig, 1:23 flat. I mean, that's picking them up and putting them down and driving right on away. Do want to thank everybody for joining in. We've got a great crowd on hand tonight for the Montreal round of the INDYCAR Open Series here in iRacing. If you haven't already done so, make sure you smash the like button on the video. Ring the bell so you can subscribe to the channel and be notified of all future iRacing action. We're back tomorrow. We're back tomorrow with the Indy Oval Series. That's going to be a fun one. You ready for that, Jacob?
We'll see. It's a night race at Kansas, so it's going to be nice and close and full throttle all the way around, seemingly. So we'll just have to see.
I like how you put that nice and close. Love how you put that.
Yeah, it'll be nice and close. You can shake hands, hold hands, sing Kumbaya. It'll be fun.
That is some of the most nerve-wracking racing that you're ever going to see from the cockpit, but it is also some of the most enjoyable that you can watch. That'll be tomorrow at 8:15, and of course the nightcap tonight. You've got the Sim Gaming Expo ISRA Series. They're going to be in Michigan, and that place. And I think I said this, and people are going to say it's probably sacrilege. I think Michigan is probably pound for pound the best track in this car, in the service or in real life. It bugs me that they don't race there. Logan Edwards, it bugs him. He can't pass Alan Bruteau. He is all over the back of that machine. Desnoyers, by the way, after that massively fast lap, he just cut it massively slow, and he was a second slower the last time through than Bruteau and Edwards. They've managed to catch back up. We still watch this battle, though, because it's a good one, and it is still the closest on track, other than Anna Klimek and Connor Parise. Now, Anna the Deer, she's coming down. She's going to try to take 6th away from Connor Parise as they head toward the Wall of Champions 12 and 13, Jacob.
Looked for it, opted to back out of it. We'll see if he maybe can build something up over the course of the opening portion of this next lap here.
Yeah, and she's been incrementally quicker than Connor Parise over the last several. So keep an eye on Anna Klimek, and there she is in the Taylor Mills Racing machine. That is the number 10, and she's another product. You mentioned the road to IndyCars earlier, Jacob. She is a product of that road to Indy. Moved up with the Taylor Mills Racing outfit, and she's acquitted herself quite well in these top splits over the last few weeks.
Yeah, it's nice to see that kind of the road to Indy did what it was intended to do, and to develop you to be skilled enough to take the fight in the IndyCar, and that's what we're seeing out of Anna week in and week out.
Caleb Brashear pops in. He says he'll see us next week, and we'll see you next week as well, Caleb. This is an every week occurrence. The IndyCar Open Series is unique in iRacing in that it splits between ovals and road circuits, and so this week at Montreal, next week
we head to the desert.
Yeah. Let's see. IndyCar Series schedule. Yeah, next week we're going to go to Laguna Seca, and that'll be a ton of fun. 41 laps at Laguna Seca, one of the most classic road courses in all the world. The week after, how about Chicagoland? You couldn't find 3 more disparate circuits on the planet than Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, a temporary, a semi-permanent street circuit. WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca, which is one of the most iconic road courses in the world, and then the Chicagoland Speedway, which is a 1.5 mile. In these cars, can be very much a wild pack race. That's going to be interesting. Also on the schedule after that, Portland, Phillip Island, the Milwaukee Mile, Nashville, and we will finish at Road Atlanta.
Well, I'm telling you 3 things that aren't that distinct. It's the lap times between the front 3 cars at the front. They're basically under a blanket right now.
They are indeed. There's Berthaud, Desnoyers. Berthaud has made the move on Desnoyers. Logan Edwards still cannot seem to find his way through as we head to get 2 laps to go. Thank you for pointing that out. They had spread apart quite a bit. Welcome to Matty Wagner into the chat here. It is 8:56 in the real world, and so Wags and some of his pals are tuning it in, getting ready for that ISRA race at 9:30. Mr. Collins, you're leading the points. Good luck to you. But we've got a barn burner headed for the flag here at Montreal. About a lap and a half left. That is the top 3. The battle for the podium is within a half a second.
Desnoyer's looking in the same spot he made the move earlier in the race. Is he going to stick it this time?
He's able to get such a great launch, and we've seen him do it several times out of turn 7. He's able to get such a great launch out of that corner as they head down toward the hairpin. Is this going to be one of those where we're going to see some kind of a wild send from somebody headed toward the hairpin and then try to make it stick on exit, Jacob?
I think we're going to see a chicane pass somewhere on the next lap if it's going to happen anywhere. But Desnoyers has managed to, once he made that pass, has managed to pull a little bit of a gap back to Berthaud. So we'll see if Berthaud can try to claw that back. 1 more to go.
He does.
Oh, he hits.
Did I believe we caught it. Kevin Desnoyers did have a touch at the Wall of Champions. He keeps right on going. I did want to point out the push-to-pass situation. Desnoyers with the surplus. So he's on 70 seconds, 28 now for Berthaud, 32 for Edwards. So he does have plenty to defend with. He can stand on that button all the way down the straightaways if he wants. He's choosing not to do so, though. The battle for second rages behind him. They're now almost a second behind Kevin Desnoyers. Through 6 and 7 for the final time. Looking at turns 8 and 9. This is a quick right and left chicane. It'll set up the run to the hairpin, and you had better get a good run off of here. Logan Edwards is going to try it one more time. Jacob, he's just too far back.
Yeah, he opts to stay in line behind Berthaud. There's going to be maybe one shot at it down this backstretch here, but it doesn't look like he got quite a good enough exit to do so. We'll see.
It does not. Down the casino straight. Everybody is on the push to pass. We're going to get one more chance here, headed toward 12 and 13 in the Wall of Champions. Just after that, Barney holds the checkered flag. Here they go from the blimp. Not quite enough. Kevin Desnoyers is going to be your winner. Alan Berthaud second. It's a clean sweep for Fiercely Ford. Logan Edwards is going to round out your top 3. And here comes Leon Flugicker. He'll go through into 4th. Rashad Craig, the Indy Alliance campaigner, he'll bring it home in 5th. This remains a battle. Connor Perez and Anna Klimek, they're going to come through to the line very close, but Perez will hold off Klimek for 6th. Ohay brings it through in 9th. 8th. Hunter Ingrab, nice run for Hunter. He'll have it 9th. And Shady Ahmed, he's looking at 10th. There's Seb Alexander, Tyler Langenberg. They're going to bring it through. And you've got a bit of time back to Milo Green. There he is. Milo is going to finish 13th. Chad Simpson in the satellite entry. He'll be 14th. And Alex Crow is going to wind up 15th, the final car running. That got kind of fun there. Mr.
Well,
Collins.
it's like we always like to say, when you can't just pull away, run away, and hide because the straights are long enough where people can kind of hold in the toe behind you, the end of the race gets interesting because there's usually a car there. So you don't just have guy off in no man's land hanging out, maybe thinking about what beer he's going to drink when he gets out of the car. You know, he's gonna go out there and have to fight for it tooth and nail.
You mean you think about what beer you're gonna have once you get out of the car?
No, I think how I'm gonna get up and drink a nice cold glass of water and go to bed.
Kevin Desnoyers, he's going to get his beverage of choice here in just a few moments. He is tonight's winner. Alan Berteau is second. Logan Edwards will round out the podium in third. Leon Flugiker, Rashad Craig, fourth and fifth. Connor Prees, Anna Klimick, Olivia Hayward, Hunter Ingram, and Shady Ahmed. They're going to round out the top 10. In 11th, Seb Alexander, Tyler Langenberg is 12th, Milo Green 13th, Chad Simpson and Alex Crow are the final finishers. Caleb Brashear, Blaze Andrews, and Alex Warkus did not finish. 18 started, 15 finished. In the end, that was fun to watch, Jacob.
Absolutely.
Speaking of fun to watch, let's see if we can get some drivers that are fun to talk to. Thank you so much for joining in. We've got the old narc brain, Logan Edwards. Logan, you've got Murph and Collins in the P1 broadcasting booth. Congratulations on the podium run. Another solid night for you, Logan. Talk to us kind of about how that went. There were a couple of times that you were able to briefly get past Alan Berteau. He was always able to zap you back. What'd you need to stay ahead of him there, buddy?
I think I needed an allied car ahead of me, help me at the end there.
Some team tactics going on, you think?
I don't think Alan wanted the team tactics either, but Kevin was definitely playing a little bit of games up there. I don't know on purpose or not, but no, it was super fun to race him. I've been racing him since probably before I got into IndyCar, so it's nice to go wheel to wheel for him or with him for the win and then P2.
Yeah, it's nice to see you here. You had a heck of a run in the AMA at Chicago Street Course. You were on the podium there. You are on the podium here in an IndyCar. You gonna be in the oval race tomorrow night, buddy?
It's Kansas at night, so probably a medium race. And Packy can't run away type.
It'll be interesting for sure. Jacob, you have anything to chime in on that, or anything else for Logan here? He's the jack of all trades and the master of some on the channel for sure.
Yeah, we kind of saw how it turned into a bit of a draft train between the three of you guys up at the front. Do you feel like that there was anything you could kind of sneak in with maybe a better corner exit here, better corner entry somewhere to try to sneak in alongside to maybe get a run down one of those straightaways, or was it kind of just ride around and hope that someone made a mistake in front of you to reel them back around?
Well, shoot. Alan made quite a bit of mistakes in front of me. I could never catch him. It's really hard to pass here in Montreal. And I was just never had that overspeed compared to him. Really get it done.
Well, I'll tell you what you did get done. You got a front row start done. You got a podium finish done. Heck of a night all the way around, Logan. And with the good finish comes the spoils. Friends, family, sponsor, shout outs. The floor is yours, my man.
Thanks to Luke Mansky Racing Esports and my teammate. My newly christened teammate, Caleb Brashear, was in this race. He didn't have a good night, but he also bought the track 20 minutes before the race started. So I'll give him a little bit of slack. And thanks to P1 Broadcasting, of course. And this is my first Open Series podium, which is great.
I thought you had one at the Daytona Road Course.
I think you associate me with that race because I went down pit road backwards.
Okay. So P3 and a maiden podium it is for Logan Edwards. Either way, heck of a run tonight, my man. Get out of here, go have some fun. We'll see you Thursday night at least, if not tomorrow.
See ya.
Yes, sir. That is Logan Edwards. He is going to finish in third. We do not have Alan Berteau in the waiting room, so we will show him. Alan, if you would like to join us, just see us at the P1 Discord, jump into the waiting for interview room. But Alan Berteau, a handy second. The winner tonight is Kevin Desnoyers. Kevin, you've got Murph and Jacob Collins in the P1 broadcasting booth. It wasn't the prettiest of starts, but it was definitely a pretty finish. Stormed from 16th to the lead. Tell us how you did it.
The set was pretty good. I would have had a good qualifying if I didn't mess up both laps, because first lap off track, second lap 0x the wall, so there went that. But then, things just went my way during the race. Car was quick. Was able to make it up back to P1 somehow. Well, I say back, but up to P1.
Yeah. Was there ever a moment where you thought it got kind of chancy, or was it pretty straightforward for you to navigate through the field?
First lap was definitely a bit scary. People were braking earlier than I expected, but once I kind of started clearing a bit of the backpack, it just felt pretty straightforward, and I noticed I was quicker than the leader, so, it just took some time, consistency, no mistakes, and got to be able to fight.
Fight indeed. Jacob, what do you have for the winner this evening?
Yeah, you kind of worked your way through the field pretty quick for the most part. Is there anything special you feel like you have to do to kind of pace yourself in terms of getting around cars, knowing that, if you get a bit too eager beaver with people that you might risk your race, or how do you navigate that?
And honestly, it's really just about trying to get the good exit, and I was saving quite a bit, like just doing a lot of lifting while navigating through the field, and I think that helped the tires. And I noticed a lot of people were struggling on exits, so I could get a better exit and just be able to be just about ahead before the next corner, and that helps a lot here.
Yes, it most certainly does. Well, thank you so much, Kevin, for joining us in the booth. Thank you for the entertainment. It was a blast watching you carve through the field from 16th to the win. And with that win comes the spoils. Friends, family, sponsors, shout-outs. The floor is yours.
As per always, a shout-out to the team. Put a great set this week. At least it feels like. Yeah, that's all I have for tonight.
Thank you so much, Kevin. Get out of here. Go have some fun and celebrate, my friend.
All right, thank you.
Absolutely. That is Kevin Desnoyers. He is the winner tonight from Montreal. Do want to point out that we do have word for Alan Burchot. He said that no interview for him. It's late, but he thanks us for the broadcast. He apologizes to Logan for the team play. Smiley face. But great run for Alan. We do enjoy so very much having him along, but definitely with him being in Europe, he's I'm sure ready to go to bed. Same for Seb Alexander and some of the others as well. Hey, Olivia Hayward, proud of the Q lap. Knew the race pace couldn't quite match it, so it was just about holding on. Hey, you didn't have that bad of a run. You finished 8th. That's above the number on the car, and that's the name of the game. Jacob, we had a highly entertaining race at Montreal. Can next week at Laguna Seca match that?
Well, I think it probably depends on how many cars can make it through that opening hairpin and the corkscrew on the opening lap, and then we kind of have to go from there, right?
We do. Do want to point out that this is likely going to vault Rashad Craig into the lead of the Indy Open points. Jacob Oster, Hamilton Akaboise, Jason Brophy were absent. Chad Simpson was here. He had a bad night. He finished 14th. Seb Alexander, likewise, finished 11th. Logan Edwards is going to take a climb up the standings. Clindy not here. He's off, I'm guessing, preparing for Michigan. Anna Klimek, Anna the Deer, had a good night. Kevin Desnoyers, of course, won the race. And so we're going to see a jumbling to those points as we head off into Laguna Seca. And then all bets are off once we get to Chicago. That's going to be wild. And I'm going to be looking so much forward to that. Speaking of looking forward, we would be remiss if we didn't thank everybody that watched us this evening. If you haven't done it, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell to subscribe to all future iRacing content on the P1 Broadcasting Network. We've got the Sim Gaming Expo ISRA INDYCAR Series up next from Michigan. For myself, Mark Murphy, my broadcast partner in crime, Jacob Collins. the founder of P1, Gary Gonzo, and everybody, we do want to wish a great night to everybody, and especially to all of the first responders, the military, the police, the firemen, the EMTs, the nurses in the emergency room, all of those who do the difficult jobs in the middle of the night so that we can sleep soundly. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Tune Gary in 20 minutes. Collins, don't bring it home in a basket, brother.